demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had.
All right. Yeah, I said we were going to be back. The theoretical, me, we, whatever, me, myself, and Irene. Anyway, here we go. Hope this is coming through all right. Turn that up a little bit. I think we're all right. Boy, I found some goofy stuff here recently. I just put out a Facebook post. Some of you might have seen it. There's a number of these people that are involved in politics that just really bother me. Maxine Waters is one of them, and it's not because she's a black female. Okay, she is an annoying person. All right. Now, let me break this down. Okay. Now, this is y'all know that I like to kind of delve into these hypotheticals. Okay. So we've got Maxine doing her typical thing, inciting people to violence, as she's done previously, and no one says a word about it. It's fine because, hey, it's just Maxine. That's what she does. That's her thing. It's okay, you know? I don't know. I don't understand it, but apparently it's okay for Maxine Waters to incite violence, which she pretty much did after the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Okay? And so she is... she's basically inciting, saying women, and in particularly, she says black women will not be intimidated by this. And she says that they will do whatever they can, that they're just going to defy the court. And she says, to hell with the Supreme Court is what she says. This is your representative, California. To hell with the Supreme Court. I mean, that's pretty disrespectful. Joe Biden comes out and blames it on 3 of the 9 justices that were appointed during the Trump administration. Now, if we want to get into the whole thing, Ruth Bader Ginsburg could have resigned or retired early rather than just taking it to the last minute, you know? And that would have given the Obama administration the opportunity to put somebody else in there, which their choice was Merrick Garland, for Christ's sake. This guy, you want to talk about a wishy-washy tool. Merrick Garland is the biggest pussy I've ever seen. This guy, oh my God, he's worthless. I mean, he shouldn't even be the attorney general. He shouldn't be, he should be a school crossing guard. Merrick Garland has the temperament to be a school crossing guard. He can get over officious. He can point and yell at people that are, not going the speed limit or, acknowledging or respecting his authority, with his crossing guard vest. I mean, really, that's all he is. He seems more like, I don't even know if he'd be good at that. I don't know. He kind of seems like one of those guys that might be like a manager of like a Safeway or something, kind of one of those, just wishy-washy, like, people take advantage of all the time, show up late, don't show up, take his lunch money, steal from his lunch box, take his sandwich when it's in the fridge. I mean, I would if I worked around the guy. I mean, he seems a prime candidate to, hey, your sandwich is my sandwich, Merrick. Anyway, getting off topic. So, the first thing that I have to go off on here, and I know I went off earlier a little bit, but I'm going to do it again because that's what I do. That's what I do. So, Maxine Waters incites violence. Chuck Schumer did the same thing, crying Chucky. I just, I go back to that time when I was sitting there at DCA and Chucky Schumer was literally 6 feet from me. I've got the photo. I should pull it up. It's on my Instagram and one of the book face pages. But I'm sitting there with my kid and we're waiting to get on a plane and we're sitting there at DCA Reagan in DC and I look up and there he is and I'm just like, oh God. And he's got two females with him. I don't know who they were. They looked to be like intern type people. And then of course he gets off the plane and all these suits just converge on him, and they're having their typical meaningless conversations. How was your trip, sir? But they're sucking up to him, and he's being Mr. Whatever he is. And I'm just sitting there like, I look over at my son. And he's like, Dad, what's wrong? I said, don't worry about it. I'll tell you in a minute. And I didn't say anything. He was too young at the time to even. But I was just looking at him, going, Jesus Christ, this guy. So he incited violence. I mean, he came out and literally called out Kavanaugh and Gorsuch, and then this guy shows up in D.C. with a hand cannon, some zip ties, and a crowbar, is what they said. At first they said it was that he had a hammer and a screwdriver and the zip ties, and he had mace. And then he got intimidated by the U.S. Marshals that were at Kavanaugh's residence, and he apparently called himself in. Obviously not mentally stable. Came from the state of California with a Glock 17. Not sure where he got it. Obviously not mentally stable. California has some of the most stringent background checks there are. The guy is an advocate of gun control, yet he was ready to go murder a Supreme Court justice over Roe v. Wade, the overturning of Roe v. Wade, which, again, does not ban abortion. It just it delegates it to the state. It's the same as the federal government saying that marijuana is a Schedule 1 narcotic on the DEA's list, okay? But we have all these states that have it legalized, right? It's the same thing. Now, you can say, well, this is a different thing. This is blah blah blah. This is that. This is the other thing. Okay. Now, we're gonna go around in circles here for a minute, okay? So just bear with me. Okay? So Maxine Waters, when she comes out the other day and incites violence, says to hell with the Supreme Court, and then she says something to the effect of, and this is not a quote, this is to the effect of what she said. I don't have it in front of me, but she said, to hell with the Supreme Court. If you think that black women are going to be intimidated by this, you got another thing coming. And I think she said something else that was grammatically incorrect. I'm not going to be the grammar police on the whole thing. What about black men? Okay, because we recently saw through testimony, at a House Judiciary Committee, where an expert witness was asked if men could get pregnant and have abortions, and she said yes. When she was asked, how do you define a woman? She goes, I think everyone can define yes. Okay. So now we have no definition of a woman. And this is not the first time that this has happened, okay? So just hang with me here, okay? This is all going to come around. So you get Maxine Waters on March 21st, okay? She comes out and praises Ketanji Brown Jackson, right? The newest appointee to the Supreme Court of the land, okay? It was no secret. Joe Biden said that if he had the opportunity to appoint a new justice, it was going to be a black female. We all know that. Ketanji Brown Jackson knew that's why she was appointed. Maxine Waters knew that's why Ketanji Brown Jackson was a nominee. Okay? I knew that's why she was a nominee. I live in the middle of nowhere in Wyoming. I knew that. So you damn sure know that Maxine Waters knew that. She came out, she put out a tweet. Okay. Yes, she did. And I believe I've got it up on my Twitter somewhere. I can find it. I don't think I need to. You can all look it up. But she mentioned to the fact that Ketanji Brown Jackson was a black female and how happy she was that there was a black female on the Supreme Court. Now, great. Of course, I have no issue with that whatsoever. Why would I? However, here's what I have issue with. When there's a decision like that to be made, there's 9 members of the Supreme Court. That's the law of the land. So when you say that you're going to appoint somebody just based on those things, how is that not racist? How is that not racist? I don't get it. You're potentially taking somebody from another background. You're taking another person and taking them out of the mix completely, just because you have made this your parameter for your next hire. Now, to me, it seems that in a position such as this, or any position whatsoever, as an employer, which as the people of this country, we are the employers of the Supreme Court, are we not? I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be. We should have the say, right? That's what the representative government, but instead it's the president. So whatever women fancy the president happens to have, then that's who they put. And thank goodness Garland didn't get in there. Like I said, I don't particularly like Kavanaugh. I think he's kind of weird. He's kind of smarmy. I don't like his approach to the Fourth Amendment. And look what happened with Miranda rights. No one's talking about that. I brought this up earlier. No one's talking about it. I'll try and stick on topic here. Okay. So Waters comes out on March 21st, and she's grandstanding, which is what she does better than anything. And that was about the same time that she showed up in Los Angeles and told homeless people to go home, to which a female in the crowd said, "We don't have any home." And to which Maxine Waters basically accosted these people and said, "Well, if you don't think there's anybody working fucking harder than me." I mean, she was cussing at these people. These are homeless people trying to get some kind of relief. She doesn't give a shit about them. She grandstands, says she gives a fuck about it. She doesn't give a fuck. And this was a black female that was saying this to her. She's like, "I don't have a home. What do you mean go home?" She's all, "Go home, go." How are you going to tell a bunch of homeless people to go home? This is how much compassion this woman has in her fucking heart. Any of you people that back this woman you're fucking nuts. And I don't give a fucking shit if she's green, blue, purple, whatever. She doesn't give a fuck about anybody but her. And she's old ass lady. She's an old ass fucking sour ass fucking. I can only imagine what she's like in real life. Judging by what she's like on the TV, she's probably like that one fucking lady that pulled up there at fucking, in DC a couple weeks back and parked that fucking car. Had that intern out there fucking trying to straighten it. She's like, "I don't know what to do." And she like fucking hits somebody's vehicle and then just fucking saunters in. Basically pulls a hit and run. Nah, no big deal. It's all good. I mean, it's crazy. So, okay. So Maxine Waters is obviously behind. I mean, she's completely backing Ketanji Brown Jackson, which is fine. But she's using the whole thing about the black woman. Now, is that not racist? I'm asking you this. Is it not racist? Should we not? Okay, I'm just going to pose this question. Should we not just be looking at, a person's career, what they've done, their credentials? Should we not be just mentioning those things when we're talking about putting somebody in a position? Why do we have to grandstand upon their sexuality, the color of their skin, their gender, their sexuality, whatever? Why do we have to do that? Why can't we say, this is the nominee. She's got an amazing history. incredible knowledge of the law, of the Constitution. She's the best fit for this position, and this is our choice. Why do you have to grandstand? And this is it's just like they did with Karine Jean-Pierre. Same thing. Peppermint Patty gets up there and says, here is a black female member of the LGBTQIA plus. I know I get this wrong every time. I don't know. They add a new letter every fucking week. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not trying to be a smart ass. I love all y'all. I don't give a shit. I don't care. It's not that I don't care. I care about you, but I don't care about your affiliation, identity, your whatever way you swing the club. I don't care. It's none of my concern. My affiliation with any of you, it just has to do with, are you a decent person? That's it. I don't care about any of the rest of that shit. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I don't care. I mean, in my younger years, I've told this story before. My roommate worked at he didn't work. I'm sorry, he went to school at a beauty school. And I was always like, dude, what's up, man? What's up with it? The guy was definitely not going to be a construction worker. I was kind of, I always had been, so I was, And he told me, he goes, well, hey, man, he goes, I got no competition down there. He goes, I work with a bunch of hot females and gay dudes. And I'm like, fair enough. And so I worked on the, what would be the north end of Portland, which this was back when Portland was actually a cool place to be. And we lived on the south end. And so rush hour traffic was always a bitch. And so we got to where I'd go meet up with him, and we would always go out and have drinks. And so it was always me, him, all these females, and then these gay dudes working. Or I keep saying working. Going to school at this beauty school. I'm just fine. We're all friends in that, but we kind of had an agreement that every other night, like, we would go out, because rush hour was so bad that I'd just pull off there and we would go to a bar and have a few drinks, have some appetizers, whatever, chill out, wait for rush hour to die down, and then we'd go back home. So every other night we'd go to a gay bar, and then we go to a straight. I didn't care. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I mean, I got no qualms with walking in anywhere. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me, really. So none of that shit even matters. So what bothers me, though, is that Peppermint Patty has to get up there, and obviously she's been told to do this, and introduce Karine Jean-Pierre as not only the first black female to have this position, but also the first black female member of the LGBTQIA+. Am I getting that right? I might have it wrong. If I have it wrong, I'm sorry. I don't mean any offense by it. Please don't take it that way. I'm not trying to offend anybody here. Not really. I'm just kidding. So let's go back to, okay, so now we're back to the whole thing with Roe v. Wade. Okay, so Maxine Waters, she's grandstanding. Biden comes out, says that because of these 3 judges that Trump appoints, that it swayed the balances of justice. Okay, last time I checked, there are 9 justices. So even if there's 3, you still have another 6. Now, I don't believe that 2 + 2 equals eye drops. 2 + 2 equals 4, right? If you have 9 justices and 3 were appointed by Trump, you still have another 6 that were appointed from elsewhere, okay? Now, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she could have stepped down and somebody could have been appointed during the Obama administration, right? Right? And that's when they were looking at Merrick Garland and all that nonsense went down. Thank goodness he didn't get in there, because that guy doesn't have the scruples for the job, for one thing. Liberal, conservative, whatever. This dude, we've seen him in operation. It's not, the dude doesn't even know what's going on in his own department. The guy's the AG of the United States, and he doesn't know what's happening in his own department. He gets up there and goes, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Like you're the law of the land and you don't know what's going on in your own department? You're a fucking moron. Okay, so Biden gets up there. He makes his whole fucking thing. You know, his typical grandstanding, blame it on somebody else because he can't take responsibility because he's not a man. I'm sorry, he's not. He can't take responsibility. He won't. He will not take responsibility for a fucking thing. He gets up there and says, well, it stops here with me. No, it doesn't. Every single time with this dude. Every single time. He passes the buck. He's a plagiarist. He's a liar. He's a thief. He's crooked. He's corrupt. It's out there for everybody to see, but nobody wants to see it because Orange Man bad. That's what it is. So, Waters is behind her because she is a black female, okay? So she goes through her confirmation hearing, at which point she is asked what her definition is of a woman. Now, the Honorable Ketanji Brown Jackson refuses to give a definition and says she is not a biologist. So how is she able to adjudicate on Roe v. Wade? If you can't define a female, how can you adjudicate on that? How? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. And we had a House Judiciary Committee hearing where I can't remember her name. We've played it. I'll pull it up. Good grief. I don't know why I'm doing this again, but I'm going to. Just to reiterate like Peppermint Patty. Let me reiterate as we walk this back and do circles around this and that and the other thing. All right. I'll pull this up one more time. So this is just, I'm just playing games here, little word games, okay? So, all right. Let us pull up our monitor on the mic'd files because we are high tech, ladies and gentlemen. We're the highest Texas of all of us. Let there be no doubt about that. All right, there we go. Oh, can a man get pregnant? All right, let's pull this guy up here.
In a pro-abortion hearing on Capitol Hill, a Democrat witness lied,
can we hear
saying
this?
that men can become pregnant and have abortions. That is this week's Speak Out segment.
Now, this is just what came out. It's Pro-Life Weekly. I didn't pick this out.
The hearing was titled,
I just typed it in,
Revoking
can
Your
men
Rights,
get pregnant?
The ongoing crisis in abortion care access. The woman who made this outrageous claim is Amy Arambide, who leads an abortion rights nonprofit called Avow Texas. Let's take a listen to this outrageous exchange between her and pro-life Congressman Dan Bishop.
What do you say a woman is?
I believe that everyone can identify for themselves.
What is she looking? Look at that smarmy face. Who is this? I know we've been Miss. I'm gonna have to write this down. Arambide. I always forget this name. I'm usually pretty good with him. Arambide. All right. The next statement though. This is the kicker. Boom.
Okay. Do you believe then that men can become pregnant and have abortions?
Yes.
Yes. Wow. What fucking planet is this person from? Is this a person? Is this a robot? What is this? I mean, where did she go? She should, whatever fucking degree or whatever, anything she's got right now, I mean, whatever certification, you need to take that shit away. She doesn't ever need to speak in public again, period. Because we all know. And you can sit here and you can say what you want to say. I don't give a shit. You know that my ass ain't getting fucking pregnant. You know that. I know that. Period. I mean, hey, I was locked up in federal prison. There were dudes in there that were taking it up to woohoo all the time, and I never saw no dude get fucking pregnant. And there were even dudes in there that had tits. Got trains run on them and shit. No, never turned up pregnant. I mean, hey, that's firsthand fucking knowledge right there, yo. Understand what I'm saying? I mean, I know for a fact that dudes don't get pregnant even if they got tits, even if they, whatever, even if they're taking the hormones and that. A dude doesn't have ovaries or a uterus, period. It's fucking biology. And we got a Supreme Court justice who can't figure that out when my dumbass can figure that out. And all you dumbasses can figure that out. I mean, come on. Let's get real here. Why in the world is this woman even sitting? Why is she testifying? What's she testifying to? What credit does she have? Because she runs some stupid fucking outfit in Texas? I mean, she thinks that men can get pregnant and have abortions. Okay. All right. And I can fucking breathe underwater forever. And get pregnant by a fish and have a mermaid baby and then come back out and walk on the water and fly and, have sex with birds and have furries and come on. I mean, when are we going to wake up? This is so fucking stupid. I mean, it's absolutely outrageous to sit here and think that this is where this world is. This is where we've gone. I mean, when I grew up, and the 80s sucked. Terrible fashion, worse music. The movies were shitty. Not much different than it is today, to tell you the truth. But I mean, we took pride in, we had pride in our education system. We had pride in science and in math and then to have this. I mean, to have somebody sit there and testify, on TV in front of a House Judiciary Committee and say that men can get pregnant and have abortions. It's insane. Now, I know a ton of gay men, and I know a lot of gay women, and I know people that are transgender. All my friends, all people that I love and care about. And not a single one of them would make that statement. Not a single one. So how can we have this Maxine Waters screaming and yelling and inciting violence when she was behind the nomination and appointment of Ketanji Brown Jackson, who can't even define what a woman is? How can she even adjudicate on this? On the Roe v. Wade thing. And Roe v. Wade, overturning it did not take away, it did not, all it did was revert it to the state, which is what it should have been in the first place. It always should have stayed that way. I'm sorry. If we're going to follow the Constitution, we're going to follow the Constitution. If we're not, then we're not. What's it going to be? One way or another. You can't say, well, this is, like the Second Amendment argument. Well, they had muskets back then. It wasn't about hunting and it wasn't about muskets. That was not the issue. And, you've got the school of thought of, well, you can't fight the whole government. They'll just take you. And yeah, you're probably right. But you should have the right to stand up for yourself regardless. You know what I mean? I feel like, I don't know, I could be crazy. I must be crazy because I don't think that men can have kids. You can have kids as a man. I mean, every child that's been born has been born because of a man. Hate to break your boat. I'm sorry. Sorry. And if it happens to be somebody who identifies as a man who still has a uterus and ovaries, what do you want me to say? Do you really want me to dumb this down any more than this? How can I dumb it down anymore? I mean, it just seems like it just seems like an exercise in futility to dumb it down any more than it already is. It's so fucking dumbed down. I mean, in these idiots on the left, they've, riots, protesting, all these problems, stopping traffic. Quit doing this. Quit stopping traffic, you fucking idiots. Do you not understand that a vehicle's bigger than you? You're not the guy that's in Tiananmen Square. Okay? That's not who you are. You are an Antifa member. You are an androgynous shit slug that lives in your mom's basement and spends way too much time on fucking Reddit. Whatever that is. I don't even know what that is, but I keep hearing about what Reddit is. I have the thing on my phone. I don't even know what it is. It's worse than Bookface or Instagram or the rest of it. I don't even really mess with much of that stuff. I mean, I do. I put stuff, obviously, this stream goes out there on Bookface and then the tweet zone. I've just recently, within the last year, I've begun to, delve into whatever that is. You only get 140 characters. I mean, most of my sentences are more than 140 characters. I'm sorry, I talk a lot. I guess that's, I don't know, maybe it's the whole less is more thing. I just remember when it came out and there's a dude sitting at my bar and he was like, I just did my first tweet. And I said, what's that? Like, you fucking queef? Did you shit yourself? What happened? He's like, oh no, it's a new social, I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, well, I tweeted. I'm like, what do you mean you fucking tweet? It's like, I'm looking at him like, dude, I'm going to take your drink here in a second. And you can say that fucking tweeted shit again. What the fuck you talking about? And he shows me on his phone. He said, it said something about what he did that. I'm like, who gives a fuck what you did that? What do you mean? What the fuck is this? It's like, well, you just, you put down like a sentence about what you just did. I'm like, what? Who gives a fuck what you just did? And now look what that's turned into. It's turned into a deal where you got a billionaire that's, I don't, did that ever even go through? It's not even in the news anymore. It's gone. It's, who cares, right? Nobody gives a shit. It doesn't matter. Your First Amendment's gone. They don't give a shit. You can't have free speech on social media. It's just the place where everybody gets their information. And it's also just the place where you can't speak your mind. Unless it coincides with what they say it has to. Because, my goodness, we're all too soft and fragile and easily ready to crack if we hear something that doesn't coincide with our little fragile eggshell fucking take on things. How stupid. All right. So, the whole thing with that, with Maxine Waters grandstanding, and then, okay, with Ketanji Brown Jackson, okay, now, answer me this. Do you honestly think that she thought that she was a nominee for the position because she was the most qualified? Or did she think that she was a nominee because Joe Biden came out and said that he was going to nominate a black woman? Now, is that not racist? If you tell me that it's not, I'm going to call you delusional at best, okay? When we're talking about positions where we want the best person for the job, we don't define it by sex of a person, gender identity of a person, sexual orientation of a person, color of their skin. None of that shit. We look at credentials, we look at history, we look at their past, we look at the qualifications that a person has. We are talking about people, a broad spectrum of people, not just narrowing things down to one certain portion of the population. When you do that, in my mind, that is racist. Prove me fucking wrong. Prove me wrong. I don't care if the individual that's most qualified is a fucking goddamn 400-pound fucking fat-ass koala bear that, eats people's faces off. I mean, let's be real here. Not about the koala, but let's just be real. I mean, do you not want the most qualified person? Do you not want the most qualified person to be one of the 9 that is on the highest? They're the highest law. They're the law of the land. Do you want to sit there and narrow it down to this tiny box when you've got, all the rest of these people that, and I'm not saying she wasn't the most qualified, okay? I'm not even the one I have no say in it, and, I wouldn't even be in a position to do the homework to find out who it is. But what I do know is that our wonderful leader blatantly said that that's the way it was going to be. I mean, bottom line, that's where it was at. So, I mean, what else do we have to go by? I don't know. I mean, am I wrong? Am I out of line here? I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not hating on anybody. I'm not, I mean, I think that we've got a delusional, possibly, Alzheimer patient in the White House that's embarrassing all of us on in the global community. I mean, does anybody argue with that? Did you see him at the G7 thing? I mean, have you seen this guy? He goes fucking berserk. I mean, he's get off my lawn. He's just like the old man on Billy Madison. Don't put it out with your boots, Ted. Don't tell me my business, devil woman. And he's out there just stomping on the bag of shit, yelling about how you're all going to die. That's who we got. That's what we got. We traded in a game show host for this. So Trump wasn't the problem. Biden's not the problem. What it comes down to is we are the problem. You understand where I'm coming from here? We are the problem. The way this thing was set up was not for these type of individuals to go in there and have a territorial pissing match on one another, and for us to just sit back and go, well, I guess we gotta go to the poll. I'm gonna get my sticker and vote for the lesser of two evils. No. That wasn't the idea. It's never been the idea. Not ever. But somewhere along the line that became the idea. Somewhere along the line that became the status quo. And I hate that term because the status quo is the stupidest shit on the planet. People go, well, it's the status quo. Fuck the status quo. All right. I'm sorry. You know what? We need to have a system where a person like you or me can be elected into public office. Yeah, that's right. Somebody that looks like me. Somebody that looks like you. Somebody that is out there in the world every day, that understands what real people fucking go through every day. Somebody who's been through addiction. Somebody that's been in prison. Somebody that's, gone through, you name it, any number of fucking things that people go through on a daily basis. Not some silver spoon up their ass fucking jerk off that just wants to get up there and grandstand and make money and fucking give people lip service. That is not a representative of this country. We are a country full of people that we work hard, we toil, we go through heartbreaks, we have some great moments. We struggle. We have a hard time paying bills. We have a hard time staying afloat. Sometimes we don't know how the fuck we're going to make it. Those are the people that need to be representing the rest of us, because that's what we go through on a daily basis. And what we have is a group of oligarchs that don't give a fuck. They couldn't care less. They don't give a shit about you. And that's what it comes down to. Every time I get on here, this is what it comes down to. They don't care. And as I said earlier, and I've said it over and over, and everybody who knows me knows that, with the whole thing with the Roe v. Wade, I'm pro-choice. But Roe v. Wade was unconstitutional. Now we either live by the Constitution or we don't. and who's going to make that call? Joe Biden? Kamala Harris? Nancy fucking Pelosi? Who's going to make that decision? I mean, we're at a crossroads right now, folks. We have a banking system that's completely fucked. It's corrupt. It's fucked up beyond belief. For those of you that don't understand it, I've done episodes about it. I know nobody listens to me anyways. But there's so many people out there that don't get it. More and more people are, though. People are catching on. And there is kind of a brush fire going on right now, I think, within the population. And I see it more and more every day. I talk to more and more people every day that have kind of gone, oh, damn. I mean, I got smacked in the face with this shit probably back, I'm going to say about 2008. I bought into all the bullshit, I went to the liberal arts colleges and listened to all my professors and read Karl Marx and thought I knew everything, I was all about being the liberal and all, And liberal is not a bad term. Being liberal in the classic sense, in the the definition of the word, is not a bad thing. I'm liberal. I don't care about what people do in their private life. Anything. I don't care. If you're not doing any harm to anybody, hey, go for it. Be a furry. Fuck if I care. Be a reptile person. I don't care. Are you hurting anybody? Just don't go and eat everybody's chickens if you're a fucking alligator, I mean, be a big woolly mammoth. I'd love to be a big woolly mammoth. That'd be cool shit. I don't care. What I do care about is I care about you. I care about people. I care about everybody out there. And I think that we're getting a really bad deal here. I care about the people that are fucking homeless on the street. I catch shit from people all the time for giving homeless people money. I do it all. If I feel like somebody is really legitimately, there's a difference, okay? I've been around plenty of grifters and I've seen, I saw this on the West Coast when I lived out there all the time. You have people that, they pull up in their new vehicle, they park at some place where you can't see it, they get out, they change clothes, right? They take off their North Face jacket, they put on some ratty shit. They get the dog out and put like a shitty collar on the dog, and then they get out their sign and they go sit on a bucket, and that's what they do all day. Stephen King wrote a short story about a guy that did that. And I wish I could remember the name of the story, because it was a great story. It was about a guy that had, throughout his entire life, right, his entire history with his wife, his family, he had made out that he worked at some kind of a office building in a big city downtown. And what he would do is he would leave the house in the morning in his suit, in his tie, in his briefcase. And he would go down to this building and he would go into, it was basically a public restroom. And he would stand on the toilet seat, pop up one of the tiles. And there he had his other things. So he'd change out of his suit and his tie and his loafers and all that. And he would put on basically, his green jacket that made him look like a veteran. He'd put on his sunglasses. He had a cardboard sign. He had a suitcase and a cup and whatever. And he would go out on the street and have a sign that said disabled veteran or disabled blind veteran or whatever. And he would panhandle for money every day. And at the end of the day, he would walk in the same building where they didn't really harass him, even though he looked homeless, because no one recognized him from the time he went in and went out. So he'd go in, he'd change, he'd put his suit, his tie back on, he'd put all his other shit up in the tile, and then he'd go get in his nice car, and he'd go home. It was a pretty crazy short story. And there was also a professor at Western Washington University, or Western, I don't know if it's university or college, up in Bellingham. He took a sabbatical for a year. And he wrote a book. And the basis of his book was what would happen if he were to panhandle off the side of the interstate sitting on a bucket for a year. How much would he make? What kind of experience would he had? He made over $100,000. Okay. This was back in the early 2000s. So $100,000 was worth a lot more than it is now. But he sat on a bucket. And he was, I think he donated it all to charity. But he made himself a sign. He found himself a spot in time where he could sit on the bucket on the side of an off-ramp because it's very territorial. And he made over $100,000 in a year tax free. All right. So I don't know why I'm getting up on that, but there are people out there that do that. But I get shit for giving homeless people money. I don't care. It's just money. If it's going to help somebody out. And I honestly don't care. I remember one day we were, my little brother and I, we were getting off the off-ramp in Eugene, Oregon. And we were getting ready to come back to Wyoming for Thanksgiving. And I can't remember. We had to go back to his place or something. And so we get off. And we're going down the off-ramp. And it's a fairly busy afternoon. So we're kind of backed up. And I look up to my left side. And, I see this dude. He's got a sign. And I'm like, you get used. You live in places that are, in cities. And, you don't pay a lot of attention, but as I'm getting closer, obviously it's stop and go and it's taking forever. So we get down there to the stoplight and I look over and the guy's got a sign and he's holding it right up at me. And it says, "Why lie? I need a beer." And I start laughing. And then he sees me laughing. And so he flips the sign over on the other side and it says, "Or weed." And I'm like, "Hey, homie, come here, man." He goes, "Well," he's like, and I reached, nobody can get me for this. This was a long time ago, but I reach in my, to my little thing, the cubby, and I pull out a bag that had some green material in it. And I just reach in. I'm like, "I'm here. Happy Thanksgiving, brother." And he was just like fucking so stoked. He's like, "Right on, man. Thanks, bro." And I'm like, "Yeah, no worries, man." I said, "Fucking stay up, all right?" And he was like, yeah. And the light turns green and he's over there going like this. And I'm like, my brother's just laughing. He's like, "Jesus Christ," and I'm like, "What, man?" I'm like, "I can appreciate that. I mean, hell, dude's being honest. I had no problem giving him a big fat bud, I mean, why not? But I mean, and people like that, those are the type of people that need to represent us, right? I mean, what better representative of the population than a person that's been homeless? I mean, honestly, a person that's been homeless, they can read people. They know people, right? When you spend your day panhandling, you know people. That's who I want. Let's put the homeless in fucking office. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it can't get any fucking worse, can it? Excuse me. How can it get worse? I mean, Tom Morello always had that guitar with Rage Against the Machine that said "Arm the Homeless." I love that guitar. Loved it. Great guitar. Great phrase. Arm the homeless. Now, I'm not saying arm the homeless, but you know what? Why not put them in office? I mean, you want to talk about somebody that would have some perspective on life? Somebody that would be able to make probably a pretty educated decision just from having street knowledge. You know what I mean? Think about it. I mean, why in the fuck do we elect people that have millions and millions of dollars? Why is that what it takes? Wouldn't you rather have somebody in office to represent you that has been to the bottom and knows what it's all about? What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen if you were to go down and grab a homeless dude off the street and say, "Hey, guess what? Tomorrow, you're getting a haircut. We're going to put you up in a nice hotel room. You're going to get a manicure. You're going to pedicure. You're going to get a shave. You're going to go have a doctor's appointment. And then we're going to go to the tailor. And you're going to get fitted with a fucking Armani suit. And then we're going to go and you're going to eat whatever the hell you want to eat for dinner. You're going to get a good night's sleep. And the next day, guess what? You're going in the Oval Office." I don't think we'd be at war anymore. I don't think there'd be people eating out of trash cans anymore. I think that somebody like that would understand what needs to happen to take care of these people that are just thrown away. I don't think you'd have racism. I don't think you would have any of these problems anymore. If you put a homeless person, man or woman, in office, watch what would happen. I know, it's kind of heavy, but think about it. The guy you drive by every day and you don't pay any fucking attention to. The guy you walk past and he asks you for some spare change. And you either say something shitty to him or you just keep on stepping like you don't exist. Think about that. I think about that when I walk past some cats, when I walk past those people. Now, yeah, there's a lot of them out there scamming. There's a lot of people out there scamming. But you know what? I mean, why are they doing it? I mean, you know, even just talking to somebody, just acknowledging them makes a difference. And these are the people that understand that. So if you were to put somebody like that in a position as a representative, a senator, even fucking president, I don't care. I'd much rather go up to Billings, Montana right now. That's the closest place I know that there are homeless people, because this town I live in doesn't allow homeless people. If somebody's homeless here, they ship their ass out. They don't care. They like get you a bus ticket. They figure out some place to take you, dump your ass off. You're on somebody else's fucking watch list, you know? Not our problem. Which I think is kind of bullshit. You know, especially with the times we're coming upon. Anyway, I guess that kind of went off a little bit. I had a direction I was going to go, and I didn't think it was going to go where it did. But, you know, that's what I love about doing this, is because you never know. The mind goes in crazy directions, and you never know what you think of. But I don't know. I mean, earlier today I said just don't vote for the midterms, but now I'm thinking, you know what? And maybe if anybody out there that hears this has some money, let's prop up a homeless person and run them for office. It's got to be the right I mean, it could backfire. It could. I mean, let's not lie to ourselves. But, you know, there's a good chance that it wouldn't. Because I've met some very, very interesting people that are on the street. Very intelligent people. People that have just had misfortune, that have had, you know, any number of things happen to them. And there they are. And they would give you anything. Have you ever watched any? There's this cat that goes out there and he does these videos where he walks up to people that are obviously homeless. They don't have any funds. And he's like, hey, you know, I left my wallet at home. I just really need to get on the bus. Is there any way you could loan me a couple of bucks? I'm sorry. I don't mean, you know. And these people will reach in their pocket and they'll give him what they've got. And he'll go, why did you do that? And they'll say, well, because I've been there and I would want somebody to help me out. And then he goes, here, I want to give you your money back. And here's $1,000. I mean, talk about hitting you right here. You know, those are the type of people that are out there. Those are the type of people that we walk by on a daily basis, that we don't give the time to, that we have news programs about. And instead of saying this is a problem and these are real people that need help, we treat them as some kind of, you know, subterranean fucking animals that aren't even human anymore. And a lot of people that have been out there like that for that long, they aren't, because they haven't had, you know, I mean, I've seen another cat, man. He's like a barber, you know, does hair. And he goes out and he gets dudes off the streets and he takes them in and he cleans them up, you know, gives them a shave, gives them a haircut, sets them up with some clothes, gives them that confidence back. And these people, they just come out of there shining. And they go out and they shine. They go out and they you know, their lives change just from that one little act of kindness. So somebody like that, I think, would make the biggest difference in the world. Not these assholes, these fucking suits and ties and pantsuits and just smarmy fucking douchebags. I'm sick and tired of them. Let's put the homeless in there. Let's get the homeless off the street. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with this whole thing. I do not want to see another $1 billion go any fucking where until we take care of the people that are in our own backyard. And then from there, we need to go and do so across the globe. There's enough resources for everybody. There's no reason for kids to be born into poverty. There's no reason for this, you know, for disease and genocide and all this shit. I mean, we sit here with our little silver spoons and we think about, you know, oh, how woe is me. Well, think about it. If you were born in you know, in the Congo, in Senegal, in Somalia, in Sierra Leone. You know, blood diamond country, shit like that. I mean, where you've got, you know, your opportunity is at like 8, 10 years old. You know, they give you a fucking machine gun and tell you to kill your family. That's what they do to kids over there. So, I mean, we feel, what was me here? I mean, there's a lot of work to be done on this planet, and it starts at home, but it also needs to, I mean, there's nobody that deserves that. Who deserves to be born into that? And then have us sit here and fucking look down at people because they're from some place that we don't understand. I mean, even if you're making minimum wage, you're like the top 1% on the planet. I mean, think about all the millions of people out there that don't have clean water to fucking even just drink. I'm not even talking about taking a shower. I mean, I see shit every day with, you know, you get people, I mean, I was watching some shit from Nigeria the other day that was just, it was gut-wrenching. I mean, these kids, they turn to the streets immediately at 8, 9, 10 years old, and they all huff glue and solvents. And that's all they do all day. They just walk around with a bottle of shit, and they just huff it, and then just fucking pass out and shit. They collect trash and somehow get some money from it, and they use the money to go buy glue they don't eat. You know, they don't know where their parents are. The parents are probably dead. Who knows? I mean, it's I don't know. All I know is there's enough out there for everybody. But in this country, until we take care of our backyard, and that's a metaphor for me too. I'm trying to do that right now. I let my yard go to shit. I'm trying to get it all put back together right now. And it's a tough thing. And just like in life and in the world, I mean, for us to get our backyard in this country put back together, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some selflessness. But it's also going to take a paradigm thought shift, because nothing is working. This is not throwing more money at this shit. It's not going to work. How many people do you know that have been in bad relationships I know a lot of people that have that kind of money, and it's like in a bad relationship, they just throw more at it, right? Like I know dudes that like they've got a bad relationship with their lady, right? And so instead of addressing it, they buy her a new car, send flowers, buy her jewelry, you know, this, that, just throwing money at it, right? Like it doesn't address the fucking problem. So throwing money at shit, it ain't going to take care of it. We need to use resources, and we have resources. There is a world of abundance right at our fingertips. However, we have a group of people that control those resources, and they don't want to let that go. They don't understand that we could all have not only what we need, but what we want. And we could, but we got to get rid of the way things are. We have to. We got to get rid of it. It's got to go. And I'm not talking fucking, I mean, you might say socialist. Okay, maybe. But we already live in a socialist fucking country. If you don't think we're socialist, then you're a fucking moron. Straight up. What is the police department? What is the fire department? What are hospitals, schools, libraries? You name it. Different agencies, DFS, crisis intervention. Where else do you want to go with it? Senior centers, things like that. That's all stuff that comes from tax money. What's tax money? That's everybody pitching in, right? What's everybody pitching in? Socialism. I know it's a terrible word. It's a terrible word. I'm not talking about Marxism, communism. We already live in a socialist fucking country. We do. Argue. Tell me that we don't. Even the fucking capitalists. We don't live it. Don't even fool yourselves for a second to think that this is capitalism. This is crony capitalism. Okay, we got insider trading going on. Wall Street is crooked as a motherfucker. They just get bailed out or bailed in, which is going to be the next one, where they just take your money and just, hey, sorry, you don't got any more. We're giving it to these guys. I mean, what's the only automobile company that hasn't been bailed out? Ford? You know, I mean, look what happens on Wall Street. I mean, there was a special that came out about 2008. I can't remember the name of it. I'll try and find it and put a link on there. But they're talking to good old Bernanke. You know, the Federal Reserve doesn't have a thing to do with the federal government, ladies and gentlemen. And see, I'm not even supposed to say ladies and gentlemen. Now you're supposed to say things like folks and contemporaries. And I was just looking at some stupid bunch of malarkey from, let me see if I can find it here. I might have pulled it down. See if I can find it. But I always say ladies and gentlemen. And then somebody the other day said that that's not what you're supposed to say. And I'm like, you know what? As long as JB keeps saying it before widespread banning concerts, I'm going to keep saying it. Let's see. All right. There's a whole list of this nonsense. Good grief. I'm going to keep saying ladies and gentlemen. And I don't care if you're a dude and you want to be a lady, then you're a lady. If you want to be a lady and you're a dude, whatever, whichever way it goes. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I mean, stop saying ladies and gentlemen. What else to say? Public speaking tips. Problematize language. Hashtag problematize language. Hello, curious. Yesternight, I had this thought, and I thought of sharing it. What? Find out why and what to say. This should be interesting. Oh, no. Stop saying... Okay, here we go. All right, we got to listen to this. All right. Well, let's see. This should be good. What do we got going here?
Stop saying ladies and gentlemen.
Why?
Yeah, you heard me right. Stop saying that. Why?
Why?
See, in a society where we are trying
You're fixing to get educated.
And open to all, where the LGBTQIA+ community has fought along.
See, hey, check it out. I got it right. I said LGBTQIA+. That's just what she said. She's really angry. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, what's wrong with that? Hi, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a dude and you want to be a lady, then you're a lady. If you're a lady and you want to be a dude, then you're a gentleman. I don't know. Sorry. It's like there's any hostility in that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, yeah, really coming. Like she's like, look at this condescension that she's got. Like somebody that says ladies and gentlemen is really trying to like fucking be like a jerk to somebody, you know?
Find some recognition and to have their own pronouns. It's
Pronouns.
important that we become more conscious of the language we use, of the kind of language we use, and particularly when we are addressing a crowd, we are not simply referring to gendered men and women. There may be people, non-binary,
What
who
about
may
your
not
dog?
be recognizing themselves with ladies or gentlemen. And I understand that your action may be unintentional, but it still undermines the struggle that these people went through.
What?
And
Okay.
it reinforces the gender.
All right. Here we go again. This is grandstanding and it's bullshit. Okay? And we've talked about these numbers before. Okay? 3% of the population is not heterosexual. Okay? Homosexual. Gay. Whatever you want to say. However you want to phrase it. Okay? That's 3%. Okay? 1% is transgender. Okay, so that accounts for 4 out of 100 people. And I would be willing to bet that out of those 4 out of 100 people, they would probably identify as a lady or a gentleman. I don't know what the percent is that with this non-binary. I mean, if you're going to be non-binary, what do you want to be called? And if you're at a public event, then what do you anticipate are you going to not listen to the speaker because you didn't get included in? I mean, are you supposed to get up there and if you're addressing, an auditorium full of people, are you supposed to say all 170 pronouns? Come on. There are way bigger fights to fight than this. That's my issue. There's so many things that are so much more important than this. This is just junk. This is garbage. I mean, what is this person even talking about? I mean, we'll finish it out here.
Binaries and the power structures involved there. So it's better not to use these words. So what do you say then? Depending on your context, if it's a formal one, prefer not using anything. Simply say hello. Or if you really want to use something, say hello everyone, hey there, hello people, stuff like that. And
what if you don't identify as a person?
Hello my fellow colleagues. Or
what if they're not your colleagues?
There's always an option. And then if you're talking to people in an informal context, it's always a good idea to say, hey lovelies, hello sunshine.
What if they don't identify as
Hey
sunshines?
curious.
Hey curious?
There's always a better option.
Than saying ladies and gentlemen.
Speed.
I mean, this person just made. I mean, okay, hey, I love you. Curious. I don't even know what to call you because it's obviously this person has some kind of an issue. I don't know what, but I don't know. I'm sorry if I've offended you by saying ladies and gentlemen when I start the show. I guess let me know. Reach out to me. Show me how that's something that's just terrible. I don't feel like it is. And just because I feel that way doesn't make it necessarily so. But I'm not going to start saying, hey, curious. Hi, curious. I mean, that makes me think of fucking Curious George. Now, did Curious George have a tail or not a tail? Look it up. Mandela effect. We're not going to get into that, though. So here's the last thing that I wanted to touch upon, and then I'm going to shut the fuck up. Mayra Flores, okay? She was the first Mexican-born individual to be elected to the U.S. House of Representatives from Texas, 34th Congressional District. And she's a Republican. Now, guess what Nancy Pelosi did to Miss Flores' daughter? Yeah, weird, huh? Weird, right? Yeah, watch this. I'm not going to make you go through my whole thing here with searching this up, but this is crazy. So, Skeletor, a.k.a., I don't care if she identifies as Skeletor or not. That's what I'm going to call her because she looks like fucking Skeletor. Sorry, not sorry. I typically try not to make fun of too many people's looks, but excuse me. I just ate a bunch of fucking pasta a little while ago. I got a little bit of, the burps. So, Miss Flores is going through her swearing in, and good old Pelosi, she really pulled a swift one here. I'm just going to turn this volume down while I find this. All right. Okay. Are we ready? You ready to see something awesome? This is awesome. This is the third most powerful person on the planet. Well, was. I don't think that Biden's the most powerful person on the planet anymore either. Of the presidency of the United States, our country is a joke. We are clown shoes for the most part. Okay, so here we go. There she is. She dresses like a vacuum cleaner. That necklace is probably God knows how much that's worth. Come on. Ladies, don't wear that shit. That's just gnarly looking. What's up with that? All right, here we go. Sorry, I said ladies. Okay, watch this. Here we go. Look at this. Watch her elbow that little girl. Look at this. Look at this. She knows what she's doing. Look at that look. She's got that look. And that little girl's got her hands on her hips. She knows what she just did to her. She knows. That little girl knows what Nancy Pelosi just look at that fucking look on Pelosi's face. That fucking nasty old woman. What's she wearing on her wrist? Like fucking Jesus Christ. She looks like she mugged a goddamn drapery. It's probably a fucking $10,000 fucking pantsuit. Got, I mean, good Lord. I can only imagine what that. I mean, no wonder that her husband was out drunk driving. Drunk driving's what I like to do. I like drunk driving with you. I can't take credit for that. That was Bradley Knowles. Old Bradley song. Rest in peace, Bradley. But look at this. This dirty fucking. How nasty is that? Look at it. She's smiling. She's like, watch this. Cute little kids just sitting there enjoying the day. You know. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that shit. You see that? What the fuck? The little girl just goes right back. She's just like, nope. Look at this. Look at, she is looking, she knows what she is doing. So anybody out there that listens to a word that this fucking wicked witch of the West says, you are a fuckhead. I mean, this poor, I'm guessing that this man sitting to the, would be the left, Pelosi's left, is the father of these kids, because it looks like she's got a couple boys and a couple daughters. I mean, look at this. Come on. Wham. I mean, is that some crazy shit or what? Look at that look on her face. She's just maniacal. She's not even a person. She's just absolutely fucking maniacal. So anyway, I'd meant to bring that up, and I'd figured I would. So anyway, Mayra Flores, she is the first Mexican-born U.S. representative from the 34th Congressional District in Texas. And she comes from a place that I've never heard of, but I'm going to look it up. It looks like the name of the place she's from is called Burgos Municipality. I've never heard that terminology. I don't know that town. I don't know where it's at. I have to look it up, quite honestly. You know, I mean, but Pelosi just, I mean, this is a historic day and blah, 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 blah. And this is a Republican, and Joe Biden has like 22 to 24% approval rating amongst Hispanics. So, no, answer me that. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. I've been babbling enough. You're probably all sick and tired of hearing it. But we do need, we got to have something change here, folks. In a big way, too. I'm not just talking out my ass. I'm saying, like, we need to figure this shit out, and we need to do it soon. Because this is not working. It's not going to carry on without some severe consequences. And I think that we're already in the throes of them right now. I mean, I'm concerned that we're kind of in that zone where we're very close, if not in the point of no return. The war has got to stop. We need to start taking care of people. You know, and we need to abandon a lot of these precepts and thoughts that we've had forever and ever. We're here for a very short period of time. A very short period. Why spend it in misery? There's no reason why any single person on this planet should spend their time here in misery. There's no reason for children to be born into poverty, disease, genocidal situations. We've got just you think about all the places on this planet where you could be born and think about where you were born, or think about how you ended up here, to where you had the privilege to listen to some dumbass like me around their neck, how I got to a place where I could sit here and do this. You know, I mean, it's pretty incredible to think about. But I want everybody should have these opportunities. And I'm not talking about inequality of outcome or anything like that. I'm just talking about a world in which people can have not only what they need, but what they want. I'm not talking about the Soviet communism style or anything like that, where everybody's got to stand in line and this and that and everything. I'm talking about actual resource-based economy that doesn't survive around this money, right? We eliminate the banking system. All it means is just buy. I mean, there are so many people out there with great ideas, great concepts, beautiful minds that will never have an opportunity because they don't have the money. And that's sad. I mean, you can't run for public office in this country unless you have, unless you're sitting on a cool million. And you got to know the right people. You got to have the right pockets greased and everything else. It's all a scam. It's not representative government. It's not. And the government was not put there to control us. The government was put there to help us. They were supposed to be, assisting the people. Well, who feels like they're being assisted by the government other than getting your stupid $1,400 check? And how fast did that fucking go for you? $1,400 doesn't go too far, especially when you're at, 9% inflation, which is in reality more like 18% when you're paying. I put $70 worth of fuel in my truck yesterday, and I got 11 gallons worth of diesel for $70, enough to get to Billings, Montana and back. When I was filling up last year for $75, filling up a 38-gallon tank. This year, 11 gallons for $70. Thanks, Joe Biden. You're awesome. Your transitional, whatever the fuck it is really great. I'm all for clean energy, but you know what? It's just like, it would be the same as fucking selling your fucking house when you don't got any place else to fucking live, or selling your fucking car when you got no place else to, nowhere else, nothing else to drive. Selling your truck when you're running a business and all you got is a bicycle. This is what this motherfucker's doing right now to all of us. I'm all for, R&D on clean energy. For sure. And it's out there. But the thing is, we're going about it the wrong way. And when you're sitting there and you're talking about clean energy with these electric cars, it's not clean energy. You're putting fossil fuels into every, and I hate even calling it fossil fuels because everybody knows where I stand on that. But you still have to have oil. You have to have oil to make these vehicles. You have to have oil to make your phones, right? Everything. Everything I'm looking at right now has got some kind of petroleum product in it. It's pen, for fuck's sake. My hat, my shirt, these headphones, the microphone, all of it. So, it's time to just wake up. I keep saying it, wake up, walk away. We got to walk away. I don't know how we do it, but we have to, because this is just bullshit. This is not working. It's not going to work. It's not sustainable. And we're seeing it right now. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. But it's up to us. It's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to all of us. And that's where I'm coming from. It's up to us. Okay? So, that's kind of why I started doing this. And I don't know where it goes from here. But I also believe that personally, I'm going to know where it needs to go, as time goes by. I think the best thing that we can do is to start out by having conversations with each other and talking about these things, because it's uncomfortable and it sucks. But you know what? Once we have the conversation, we can move forward. It's when you sit there and you sweep shit under the rug and you act like it's no big deal. That's when that shit just metastasizes and it turns into cancer. And we're cancer ridden right now. We have a big time cancer in not only this country, but in the entire world. So it's up to you. It's up to me. What are we going to do? I think about it every day. I spent a lot of time doing homework on what the answer is. And, you know, it's not something that's just going to be a snap of the fingers. It's not. It's going to take, you know, it's going to take some sacrifice from a lot of people. It's going to take, you know, there's going to be some painful moments in it. But I guess it's up to us as far as what do we want to do. Do we want to just roll over and just say, well, I'm going to die at 70 anyway, so fuck it? Or do we want to say, look, we want to have a better place for our children and their children and so forth and so on, because we don't know what happens when we leave this car. We don't know what happens when we die. I mean, everybody's got their book and their magic man with the hat, but nobody knows. You don't know it's my thought that we have a consciousness and energy about us, and that when we turn our rental car in, that energy goes somewhere else. Who's to say it doesn't go right back into another child? And you just get a reset, and here you go. But you have that, you know, nobody knows. I'm just making shit up. Who knows? Maybe we turn into worm food. I don't think so. I don't think there's any reason that would be the end of our consciousness. It's just to be like, you're dead, you're in the dirt, bye. There's something else there. And none of us are going to be able to define it. I have a feeling, though, that the departed, those that we've lost and we've wept and shed tears over, I have a feeling that they maybe had a moment of understanding. Maybe we don't even have a moment of understanding. Maybe it's just boom. You leave your body and then, you know, and who knows? Who knows? It's all speculation. I don't even want to get going on that. It's too much, too late, too little for now. I'm going to do some more looking into that. But I'm not going to find anything because nobody knows. Nobody definitively knows. It's all a joke. Good God. Yeah, comedy and a tragedy. All right, I'm signing out. Y'all be good at it. In all things, be kind. Do no harm. From 52 miles east of Yellowstone Park, out of Coyote, Wyoming. I'm your host, Michael File, and this is the Mic'd Files. Check out. You can check me out on the. I've got a Patreon site up now. I'm doing a blog on through Twitter, and getting some other things on the go as well. So stay tuned. I'll probably be back at you tomorrow to gnaw on your ears for a little bit longer. All right. Y'all have a good night. Peace.